Hey everybody, welcome back to The Chosen Chat. My name's Justin.
And Kerri.
And today we're going to be looking at Season 2, Episode 8, which means that this is the finale of Season 2. It has been a fun journey. For me, this is one of my favorite episodes so far in the first two seasons.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. Today we're going to look at two scenes, and we're actually Kerri and I are going to watch them. Hopefully you've already seen the episode. We're going to watch them, and then we're going to react to them. And there are some questions that are in the description below to help generate and lead your conversations. And I love in this episode that Jesus and Matthew are working on the Sermon on the Mount, on the Sermon on the Mount. And some of the questions that Jesus asks Matthew are the questions that we discuss here on the Chosen Chat. And so that was a lot of fun. So those questions are in the description below to help generate some conversation between you and those around you. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let's use yours first.
Okay.
What's the timestamp on this?
1918.
All right. So around the 19-minute mark, this is a conversation between Matthew and Jesus as they look out over the camp.
I hope they can find a way to work together. What do you mean? They can't seem to agree on a single thing lately. Myself included sometimes.
Oh, I've noticed. In some ways, it's to be expected.
But not desired, surely.
No. But it's what's bound to happen when you start something that's open to all, truly, all people. Zealots, even tax collectors. People who have been through tough times. People both hesitant and skeptical, as well as bold and confident. People hungry to learn, as well as those learned and knowledgeable. Let's get back to work.
Awesome. So the reason that this scene grabbed my attention was because I think it describes our dream for One Life Church. A place where all people are invited and that we don't have to agree on everything.
Right.
And that can sometimes mean that we can butt heads. It means that there can be some disagreements. And I love that Jesus is so calm in response to this. It doesn't throw him off. He is not angry. He doesn't rebuke. It's just like, it's pretty normal. Like when you bring all these people together and you start something new and not everyone agrees on everything and everybody's coming from different places, but we can still work together.
Oh, absolutely.
And we can still sit at the table together. So what came to your mind whenever you were watching this scene?
So actually, if you backtrack a few minutes to when the disciples are all standing around and they're arguing about whatever, and someone asks, Tamar asks Mary, what is that? And she said, I think it's love.
And they're arguing? Yeah.
And honestly, it made me think about a few of our staff meetings in a good way. In that the disciples are all so passionate about the ministry and they're coming from all these different areas and sometimes they clash. But like what I was thinking about with our staff meetings is all of us come from very different backgrounds. All of us have different personalities. And sometimes when we approach an issue, we come at it at different angles and our discussions can get passionate.
Yes.
But we need those differing opinions to come up with what we're going to do, where we feel God moving, take away all of our own, whatever we want, and make this place a place where everyone feels like
that's right. And it can be a safe place where you can name your passions and your opinions and your desires and your dreams. And then we can figure out, okay, what's God doing here and how can we come together and work together.
Yes.
A couple stories come to my mind. One story is a conversation that I had with a leader a few years ago here at our church. And him and I had some disagreements on some things, but they weren't what we call close-handed doctrines. So here at One Life, we have close-handed doctrines: who Jesus is, who God the Father is, who the Holy Spirit is, what salvation is, all those things. Like these are close-handed things. These are foundational beliefs. What him and I disagreed on were not close-handed. They were what we call open-handed. And so we can have different opinions. And I remember exactly where I was standing when I was on the phone with him. And I said to him, listen, I want you at the table. There is a seat at this table for you, and I want you and I to create this table so that others can join us here. And I want you to like be okay with us disagreeing at this point. Another conversation that comes to mind is actually with one of our current overseers here at One Life. And when she was coming on to be an overseer, we sat down and we were discussing another close-handed doctrine, close-handed issue. And it was so cool that her and I could sit down and name our opinion and then decide we can be at this table together and lead this church together. And so, I think that's what Jesus desires for his kingdom. Being unified does not mean conformity. It doesn't mean that we're going to agree on every single thing, but learning to create a safe table where we can sit down and have some disagreements. And I just want to name this. The world does not operate that way.
Oh, no.
You have this tribe and this tribe, and if you don't adhere to everything in our tribe, we boot you out of the tribe.
Yeah.
And then we call you out, cancel you.
Exactly.
All those things. And I think the church needs to be different.
Absolutely. Like if you've been kicked out by a tribe, come sit by us.
Yeah.
So have we.
That's right. All right, awesome. Here's the next scene. It's at the 31-minute mark, and it's the conversation that Jesus has with Matthew where Jesus names the Beatitudes. So let's watch this.
Ready? Have I? Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. Yes,
Yes.
but how is it the map? If someone wants to find me, those are the groups they should look for. And then? You are the salt of the earth.
So many cold chills.
Yeah, I said like the only reason like I don't cry at that scene anymore is because I've seen it a bunch of times. Like I know what's coming now. Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. So many things to talk about. Why is it a map? And Jesus says, if people want to find me, these are the groups where they should look. The word blessed, we talk about this a lot at One Life, is not bigger and more. And instead, the word blessed is this idea that God is with us. God kneels down. This is where God can be found. And Jesus is naming that. Like, this is where I'm at work, is in these groups of people. So good. Like, you want to, if you are looking for God, if you're like, I don't know where God is, go to Matthew chapter 5 and read the Beatitudes and then start looking for those groups of people.
Absolutely.
Those groups of people are the salt of the earth. They are bringing about restoration. They're bringing about healing. They're bringing about the kingdom of heaven,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Oh, so good. Let me ask you, Kerri, which one of these, so he weaves in the stories, the images, Dallas Jenkins, genius, weaving in the images, the pictures of the disciples. Jesus is fiercely personal. Like, he sees the faces of his disciples as he's naming each one of these groups of people. Which one of these do you see your story in? Where do you see yourself in the Beatitudes?
I've always been drawn to the peacemakers. In fact, when I was a teacher in the public school system, I painted a sign that said, "Blessed are the peacemakers," and I put it in my classroom above the door for myself to be reminded and all my students to be reminded of who they need to be when they walked out that door. I think it is so important to help people work for shalom.
That's so good.
And not by sweeping things under the rug, not by ignoring things, but by helping people work through those feelings and those conflicts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two really stood out to me this time as we were watching it. The first is, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. We've, experienced some loss here at One Life, and there's so many tears in these images.
Yeah.
And I just, man, my heart, I think I felt in my heart, and I've had some people in my life outside of this place who've experienced loss. And I'm so grateful and hopeful that Jesus is faithful to that promise, that he brings comfort to those who mourn.
Absolutely.
The other one for me that stood out this time was, blessed are those who show mercy, for they will receive mercy. And the women are putting the veil back over Mary's head.
With that episode, that's the point I talked about.
We talked about that. And I resonated with Mary Magdalene because I resonate with the Apostle Paul, where he says, I'm the chief of all sinners. Like, I'm the worst of all sinners. And so grateful that there is mercy upon mercy upon mercy upon mercy upon mercy. And I don't know, those two just grabbed my attention this time. So for you, as you think about these two scenes that we've discussed, what is the good news that you hear from God? As you think about this whole episode, I guess.
The whole episode, yeah, because I think that what I gather from this is kind of overarching, but when I said I resonate with the disciples, I'm like trying to get it right, and like trying to get it right with Mary. She was like trying to memorize, and Brahma was trying to read everything. And the entire episode, Jesus is on the mountain, but he never takes his eyes off them. Matthew's like, why do you keep looking at the camp? You keep going over here. And then we see at the end, like he's never taken his eyes off them. He has invited them into the ministry, but he has equipped them to do what needs to be done.
Yes.
And they don't have to be anxious about it failing.
Another scene that there's two scenes. One where he sends them out into the streets and they're telling people, they're inviting people. The Mother Mary kneels down with the beggar and the outsider and invites him into this Sermon on the Mount. And then the scene where the crowds are coming up over the mountain, that happens because they were participating with what Jesus was doing and went out and invited the crowds, invited the people in the streets. And we get to be a part of this.
Yeah.
We don't have to. We're not required. It's not a duty. We have been invited to participate in the renewal of all things.
Absolutely. And notice, they don't all do the same thing.
No.
Everyone is participating in the way that they are gifted.
They all have a different voice.
Exactly.
They all invite somebody different, someone different with their voice. But we all get to be a part of what Jesus is doing to bring about restoration, to bring about the kingdom. Oh, that's so, so good. It's such good news to me. And it's exhilarating.
Yeah.
Like, So that's what's good news for me. Do you have anything else about this episode that you want to name?
Oh man, it's just such a good one. Such a good one.
Yeah.
I think we could talk for an hour on this. There's so much more.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll finish up there. We pray that this will lead you to such great conversations, and most of all, that you will be drawn to the person of Jesus and you will follow him in your everyday life. We will be back soon for season 3. Season 4 has now started to drop.
Yes.
And you can stream that and watch it. So we hope that you enjoy the show as much as we have. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.